Piano Tech Support here. Welcome to a new video. Today I will be going through the 5 easiest Chopin pieces for beginners. Now, big disclaimer, obviously easy. No piece is easy, as we know, because when there are no technical challenges, there are usually challenges of musicality and phrasing and dynamics. And really every piece can be a challenge, every piece can be perfected, and it can be extremely difficult to achieve that near perfection. So today I'm going through what I think are easy pieces for beginners of Chopin, because Chopin is probably your guys' favorite composer, or most people who get started with classical music, or even people who are in the business for many years, Chopin is the go-to composer. So I will present 5 easy pieces, easy in quotes, that you can learn and that you can learn from. Okay, so the first piece I will present to you is the Waltz in A minor, Opus Posthumus. This is a very, very well-known piece, often performed also by beginners and professionals. So this piece right here, what I like about it, and I think what is great about it for beginners, is that we have such a clear structure of left hand doing nothing fancy, just the basic waltz rhythm throughout. And as you can see, very clear. We have 2 pages here. You can really get an overview, and it doesn't go into any unknown territory, and it doesn't take any too many turns, so it stays in the structure for the whole piece. And the only challenges I could see from a technical standpoint would be maybe the triplet here, and polyrhythm, and maybe the trills once they are here, but those are really the only things that could be challenging in a technical sense. Other than that, it could be the legato, because as you can see, we have long phrases with legato. Those could be technically challenging. Other than that, though, it is a very straightforward piece that you can learn from. You can improve many things on it, like your legato, your basically your sense of rhythm and togetherness. And anyway, it's not so fast, so this is a great first piece I would recommend. Okay, now we are in the Preludes from Chopin, which have a great variety of difficulty. We have some of the most difficult pieces in here, and what I would say are some of the easiest pieces, again in terms of technical and for beginners. And 2 pieces I would recommend from the Preludes are the number 4, which I will scroll to now. This one, very famous, you probably have heard it, the Prelude in E minor, Opus 28 number 4. And again, we see a clear pattern of structure here, with the left hand going through with these chords until the very end, and the right hand has the melody here. And we can work, what is great about this piece, you can really work on your dynamics with the crescendi, decrescendi, and having a great contrast here with the forte and espressivo molto, and then bringing it back down to a mezzo piano and pianissimo at the end. So you can already work on your dynamic differences. We always want to have great dynamic differences. It's always what I tell people when I get recordings sent to me, which you can do as well, by the way. I always tell, make a more dynamic difference and more contrast. So this is a great piece to practice that. Okay, and the other piece from the Preludes would be the number 6. Now this is maybe a bit more difficult, but you guessed it, again, very clear, very straightforward. This time, however, and why I chose this piece, is because it's reversed. Now we have the melody in the left hand, and the accompaniment is in the right. So this gives it a whole new dimension. because we are so used, and especially if you're a beginner, you probably only ever play the melody in the right hand, but you need to get used to playing it in the left hand as well. And this is such a great piece to practice that, because you have this pianissimo here and piano. So basically the difference in dynamics is not that great, but the left hand needs to be stronger and more needs to be in the foreground. And this is something you can practice here, because you will see as a beginner your right hand, your dominant hand, will often be louder, and this is something you need to practice, that you can give any dynamic in any hand and make a nice left hand melody. So this is a great piece to practice this kind of skill. Okay, and then we have an interesting piece, the Cantabula, which I myself have not played, but it is a very short piece, only one page, and very typical Chopin sounding, this melancholy, this typical Chopin sound. And you can really practice your phrasing here and make a beautiful sound with just a few notes, only one page, very short piece. So you can really dive into how to make a phrase sound nicely, how to make the sound beautiful. And this is why I would definitely recommend this if you haven't played it, and if you're a beginner and you like Chopin, then you should definitely look at this piece. It is great. It's so short and sweet, but still goes into a lot of sound and how to make a beautiful sound that doesn't sound, harsh or direct. So I would add this to the list. And finally, the last piece I would recommend is, you guessed it, the famous Nocturne Opus 9 number 2, which is just world famous. Everyone knows this piece, pianist or not pianist, everyone knows it. This is definitely a step up in terms of difficulty, but it is very manageable. Now, don't be scared about all these notes here that you see. Most of them are more ornaments, and the structure is just as clear as in most pieces. Now, I have heard many beginners play this piece, so I know that it's possible. What I would recommend, however, is that you first practice to get the melody down really well. So the main work with this piece will be how to create a beautiful sounding melody, and to keep all these dynamic differences and contrasts without sounding, too direct, and without playing it too loudly and too like shouting. So this is the first step, is to get the right hand down, which is not easy at all. I I agree with that. It's not easy, but it is still one of the easier nocturnes to practice that on, because apart from certain technical challenges, which, a challenge is always good, right? You want to, the only way you can make progress is if you face yourself with more challenges, and you overcome those challenges. So this is definitely has some technical challenges that the other pieces don't have, but it has so much to give in terms of sound, how to learn to play, and I think the most important part is learning to play a piece that is several minutes long and that sounds beautiful, and you have a piece that you can actually, present and play in front of people. So this is a piece that is great for this. Also, of course, the waltz, which is the first piece I talked about. The preludes are maybe too short to really present them. So this would be something that this nocturne would take more time to learn. But once you have it, it's such a good thing to have, just as a pianist, and you can perform it, and the more often you perform it, the better you get at it. And so it's really good if you haven't played this nocturne, and if you're a beginner, then go for it. Maybe try the other pieces first, but definitely go for it and learn from it and try your best.